Okay, this is my first attempt at ever doing this. I hope I'm doing it right. Um, a Gman episode called Honest Skeptics versus Dishonest Skeptics. In this video, at least to me, G-Man admits to himself being a dishonest skeptic and admits to even believing in evolution, the thing he says he doesn't believe in. And I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay, so the part I heard earlier in the beginning, you were giving examples of honest, or you were giving examples of dishonest skeptics, I think, and that was like people who wouldn't accept the information they read or something like that. If you could refresh my memory, do you remember what I'm talking about?
I said quite a few things about dishonest skeptics. A dishonest skeptic is somebody that's going to ask one question followed by another question, followed by another question, followed by another question, and never acknowledging the first question that was answered, right? A dishonest skeptic comes in with pride. They're worried about what the crowd thinks. They're coming in here and sometimes they're paid to actually go in the room and waste somebody's time. A dishonest skeptic never really is interested in real information. They want to debate for the sake of debating. And that's not what consider to be a dishonest skeptic. They're not using the actual information properly. An honest skeptic is somebody, for example, is somebody who's genuinely and sincerely interested in the topic and will take correction when correction is brought to them. Like, for example, there was times that I was wrong about what I talked about regarding the Big Bang. And I got on here and I said some things, and I remember like it was yesterday. I only have like about maybe 1,500 subs. I don't even think I had 1,000 subs yet. Like a 600 subs or something like that. And I got on here and I said something about a Big Bang, and I was so wrong that both a Christian and an atheist told me to take the video down because it was totally wrong information. And I took the video down, and that was the end of that. You know what I mean? I made sure I did my homework before I did something like that again. So sometimes I'm talking to a skeptic, and there would be sincerely they'll tell you the real reasons on why they don't trust the Bible, and you can disagree with them, but the difference is when they make their retort to you, if they've been corrected, they will acknowledge the correction, but sometimes they'll still tell you, I still don't believe it, because those are the people I consider to be honest. I don't consider a person honest who wants to argue for the sake of arguing.
Well, you know,
Okay, now here's where, well, I'm sorry, let me just keep playing it.
As far as being I'm sorry. As far as being a dishonest skeptic, G-Man, there are many that would say that exact thing about you.
Now, I want you to listen to the answer he gives me. Okay, I just said, as far as being a dishonest skeptic, many would say that about him.
Well, here's the thing. In my first video that I made on this topic, I said that dishonest skeptics exist both in Christianity and atheism and every other religion that's in the world. It depends on whether or not they want to actually hear what somebody has to say. And if they're serious, about the conversation. I know I troll when I go into rooms. Like if I go into the geek room and the geek room says, G-Man, we want you to come in here to talk about God. I gave this example earlier. And they wanted, and they decided that, okay, we're not going to talk about God. We're going to talk about bologna and cheese. And they didn't inform me about this, but I'm trying to get back on the topic that I originally came in there about. Then guess what? We're going to end up talking about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Because I didn't agree to come into this room to talk about no bologna and cheese. I came in this room to talk about God. You understand? So I openly admit that I troll people. But 99.9% of the time when I come into these rooms, I take these conversations seriously. I only get difficult when I know people are wasting my time.
Well, when people...
Now, I would think the answer to me saying people would say, you're a dishonest skeptic. The answer should have been, no, I'm not. Instead, he gave that. And then he'll kind of repeat it again, I guess. I'll show you.
People discuss things in science like evolution, Big Bang, all that kind of stuff, and you've had just a refusal to accept the information given to you. Like the question, people have answered the questions you've had over and over again, and you refuse to listen. So again, people could say that dishonest thing about you.
And again, listen to his answer. The answer should be, no, you're wrong.
Well, here's the thing. You know what Romans 3, and I want to remind atheists about a truth that Christians believe, because I think this is constantly forgotten. Romans 3:23 says that we have all sinned and have fallen short of the glory of God. The Bible says there is none that is righteous, no, not one. Everybody on this planet is flawed. So, do I go out there and do I troll people? Yes, I do. There's nowhere near as often as other atheists do. Okay? And my video was not directed towards atheists alone. It was directed towards anybody who makes a practice of being a dishonest skeptic. And I am skeptical about quite a few things. I'm skeptical about people's claims about being a Christian. I'm skeptical about the theory of evolution. I'm skeptical about the Big Bang theory. I'm super duper skeptical on that bedtime story known as abiogenesis, because there's no science to support it at all. You know what I mean? I'm skeptical when it comes to people telling me that aliens live on Jupiter and things like that. You know what I mean? I'm not gullible, that's for sure, because that would be the exact opposite of being skeptical.
But so you said you're skeptical. So all those things you said you're skeptical of, but you are dishonestly skeptical as opposed to honestly.
Which topic?
All that stuff. Evolution, abiogenesis.
That's not true. That's not true. Show me.
So that's not true? I mean, he rambled on, for a few minutes instead of just saying no. I don't know.
Me, how I'm being dishonest when it comes to evolution.
Because you've asked the same questions over and over again. People have answered these things. You have a complete refusal to listen. It goes in one ear and not the other.
No, I'm still asking the question about anatomical features coming from new anatomical features coming through mutations, and nobody's answered that question. What they have.
Now, I'm glad he actually brought that up. If you've listened to Gman, he's always asking new anatomical features from genetic mutation. I'm glad he brought it up because I finally had an answer for him, which, of course, completely went in one ear and out the other.
We don't know as much as they think they do. We're not stupid. We know what they're doing.
Okay, well, Gman, the new anatomical features from genetic mutations. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you actually remember where you learned that? Like, was it in school, or is it something you learned later on your own?
I learned that on my own.
You learned that on your own? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I learned that on my own. I listen to other people.
Okay. Well, it actually just because you've been asking that question, for as long as I've been listening to you, and it finally occurred to me one day to just look it up, and I literally Googled new anatomical features from genetic mutation, and there was nothing. That's not what science teaches. That's not what evolution teaches. What evolution teaches is anatomical variation with genetic mutation from genetic mutation. Now, variation after variation after variation after variation will eventually become new features.
The same thing.
But
the same thing.
Variation and new anatomical features is the same thing.
Now, listen to me here, okay? So,
now right there, I just told him that what science teaches is anatomical variation from genetic mutation, not new anatomical features. And he said it's the same thing. Okay. if you've heard Gman, you'll know that's nonsense, because when we've said that, he says it's nonsense, I guess. But he'll do that several times. I'll show you. That was the first time where he said, in fact, let me rewind that.
But
the same thing.
Variation and new anatomical features is the same thing.
Now listen to me here, okay? So
then again,
you're not even going to entertain what I said about how you're incorrect about new anatomical features.
Anatomical variations are the exact same thing. One of these days,
one more time.
The new anatomical features and variations are the same thing that you brought up. But listen though, anytime.
Now, right there, you could see my face where I was like, "Did you just say that, dude?" And then I guess there's a third time too.
So you said you want to see new anatomical features from genetic mutation. I then told you that what science actually teaches is anatomical variation from genetic mutation. And then you said they're the same thing.
They are.
So then why are we having this conversation then?
Okay, because of time, okay? You atheists argue time.
So I really don't know what to say. The very thing he's been asking to see, science doesn't teach. And when I told him what it does teach, he says it's the same thing. I wasn't kidding when I said that it finally just occurred to me one day to just Google it. And I literally Googled new anatomical features from genetic mutation. And let me see if I can show you that part. Am I doing this right? I'm sorry, hold on. How do I do that? Okay. All right, right there. I literally Googled new anatomical features from genetic mutations, the thing G-Man's always asking, and this is what came up. Generating anatomical variation through mutations. Mutations are the raw material of evolution. But everything that I saw was making reference to, the small changes, G-Man always says that if evolution is true, you're supposed to be able to see people born with two heads, an extra eyeball, or an extra foot. I guess technically that's a mutation, but I know that's also a birth defect, and it's probably fatal, so that trait won't be passed on. But this will be pointless because it will change nothing with Gman. I hope I did this right. I took a shower for this. Huh?